Number 5. Do you want to have to work to pay significant bills after you're pregnant?
Not full time, no.
Whoop.
Hello, and welcome back to the Talk Podcast, guys. Do you guys remember we wanted to continue on the Kevin Samuels video with the scatterbrain young lady? I didn't say it. He said it. Scatterbrain is just a way to express someone who is confused, and I think it's quite funny and it's very suitable, right? Sometimes we all are scatterbrained. So let's continue and see how the whole conversation is going to roll out.
What percentage of financial family load do you want to have to be responsible for a lifetime?
10, 20.
What state do you live in?
Tennessee.
How much money would a man need to make to be able to provide for a family of 5 children and a wife, 6, 7 people, to where his wife only has to work 10 to 20% of the time for her lifetime?
So, before she answers the question, this is a very, very valid question. And I think we all, especially us women, we need to be asking ourselves more. Not only in the sense of the relationship aspect, but how much does the lifestyle really cost you that you're trying to have, the one that you're aiming for, the lifestyle that you're scrolling for on Instagram. Is this something that you can really afford? And think about it, because we all maybe have caught ourselves doing this. Yes, you could buy that thing, but can you really actually afford it? That's the mindset that I'm trying to approach here. So let's see what she's going to say.
Well, my dad did it.
I did not. Now, see that what I asked a question. See, you can't stay here, young lady. Answer that question. How much money would a man need to make to facilitate a lifestyle for a woman like you? Don't tell me what your dad did. Tell me the number. Tell me what you think the number is. But don't go give me a narrative about something that's not going to end in a number.
60,000 just to be comfortable.
How much?
60.
Wait a minute, 60? 5 children, 2 adults, 60,000. Now the question, as I said, is valid for all of us, because this has nothing to do with her situation being in America. This is this is also valid for us here in Europe or anywhere else in this world. You need to ask yourself, the place you live, the person you're with, the life you want, the children you want, what are you guys capable of doing? And to be honest, right, 60,000 is not going to do for 5 children, you and your husband. Plus, this is just 60K without nowhere to go with the 60K, right? There's so much more that comes to this. Like the house is going to cost, the car is going to cost, all the kinds of insurance is going to cost. Like, what? This does not make sense.
60?
Yeah.
For a wife and 5 kids.
That's just to be comfortable. I'm not needy. I'm not extra.
$60,000 a year.
I love it. Such a sweetheart. I love the humble mindset. I'm not needy. I don't need too much. I get that. But yet, this is not realistic, okay? Because this is not even putting in the extras of things you would like to have, right? This is not going to cover the base. That is the problem. She is attached, completely disattached from reality. 23 years old, has no idea about what life actually costs and what men, or in her case, her man would have to make to be able to bring that kind of lifestyle for the whole family.
I'm just saying, I'm hopefully by that point I have something.
$60,000 a year. What's your degree in?
What'd you say?
What is your degree in?
I never finished.
Do you live by yourself?
Yeah.
No roommates?
Oh, I have a roommate, yeah.
Do you have a boyfriend?
No.
I can tell. I'll tell you why, because that smoke detector is a single girl tell.
How?
Because you got a beeping smoke detector, and that's a single woman tell.
I'm not staying in my house right now. Okay. I'm babysitting right now.
So I need you to be clear. $60,000 for 7 people.
Honestly, Kevin, I didn't even know how to answer that question. I don't know.
Well, that's sad.
I've never really
That's
researched
sad.
that.
That's sad. It's sad, and I'll tell you why it's sad.
Why?
Because at 23 years old, you're in marrying age. And if you don't know, it's sad because you young ladies have no idea who men are, what it means to be a man, how much it takes to facilitate a life you're talking about. It's just...
So yes, there is really a smoke detector that is beeping. I don't know if you guys caught that. But this is not only on the aspect of getting married, right? I guess in this case, and for so many, it is quite shocking that we are not confronted with reality. And this has nothing to do with, oh yes, I don't really care for all the flashy things, and I don't care for money and capitalism and all that good stuff. No. This has to do with understanding what life is going to cost and what is going to cost you when things go unexpectedly wrong.
It's just... And that's why I ask these questions, so people can understand how much young women are being failed with information. $60,000, ma'am?
Wait, can I?
No, ma'am.
Can I
That's
interject real quick?
That's $30. No, $30 an hour. How much does the average? Go ahead, interject whatever you want to interject. Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, at that point, hopefully, I would be able to. Hopefully, my career has taken off, and I will be able to
What
Your career in what?
bring something to the table already at that
Your
point.
career in what?
Childcare.
Childcare?
Yes, like, I have savings, and like, I want to have something financially coming in.
Were you raised with your mother and father?
Empty-handed.
Were you raised with your mother and father?
Yes.
Ma'am, in order to have 5 children and have a wife not work in Tennessee, which is right above Georgia,
I'm not trying to live in Tennessee, though.
it doesn't. Well, you better be. Where you trying to live then?
I want to be back where my family is in Minnesota.
As much as I've said $60,000, ma'am, you're talking closer to $600,000 for as many kids as you're talking about.
So guys, let's try and break this down, because here's where delusion kicks in again. Here's where she said it, like, hopefully, and at some point, at this point, and things are just going to happen. And guys, don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to knock this young woman's hope, right? Who wants to do that? But reality sometimes is just going to taste a bit different, okay? Even if I want this to happen, which I do, like, a career in childcare sounds great. Why not? But having a business is not just going to, I want to start a business and it works. It can happen for a few people, but it will happen that you're going to fail. It takes planning. It takes, time, investment, commitment. So this idea of things are just going to happen at some point, it would be even better to step forward and say, let me give a time frame to see, like, a trial period of, this is what I'm going to do in X time. This is what's going to hopefully come in X time. And if it doesn't, then I need to go back, retract, or change, or, or maybe just quit. Who knows? But this idea of suddenly something is just going to come out of nowhere that's going to bring you so much money, because remember, this is someone who only, if having to work, which is not a bad thing. I'm not knocking that. It makes sense to want to be at home at that point. If you have 5 children, someone needs to be at home, right? Even with one kid, it makes sense to be at home, especially when they're just babies and very young. For those who can do that, who choose to do that, who want to do that, right? But 5 children, definitely you should stay at home. Yet if she would want to or would have to work, it would only be 20% max, meaning whatever your business is, whatever you're doing needs to bring quite some money for you to just, do a 20%, and the family expense and everything that could go wrong, and future plannings and vacations and the future of the kids and, insurances and care and whatnot is covered, right? So those are major expenses that unfortunately she really just never thought about.
So, do you work?
And one more thing, no one is knocking down 60K. But if you want to talk about this is not 60K net on your hand. This is 60K, which is even Okay, for some people, maybe 60K, yeah, you're right, doesn't make sense for 5 kids. We understand that, doesn't make sense for 5 kids, plus 2 adults. 60K is good money. If she was to be 23 years old making 60K, we all can put a tick behind it that you are making good money, right? And you can have a good start in life being on your own. You could even have a family like you, your husband, 1 child, 60K. He's making 60K. You're home, you guys are living in a lower lifestyle, not in a major big expensive city, not driving the most expensive big car. Obviously, you need to downgrade your lifestyle, which does not mean you're living a bad life. You just live a life that is within your means instead of living a life that you see that you're allegedly supposed to live via Instagram or whatever people tell you to do, right? So it all takes context. And really, people who do know how difficult it is to make money or to actually grow in making more money, they will tell you that 60K, yes, is already above the average. That is already above the average, and not too many people her age make that money. So if it was her alone, that's good money. But if you want to talk about a family of 5, difficult, hard, not doable, right? Talking of a family of 2, like 2 adults, 1 child, or something like that, definitely doable, even if she was to stay at home until the child is a certain age, or if she was to do her 20% 20%, right? But come on, wake up.
Do you work right now?
Oh, do I? Yeah.
Okay. Full time?
Mhm.
Are you making more than $50,000 a year?
It's not that difficult.
No. Hold on. Can I do the math? I just got a new job and I haven't. No,
Are you hourly
no,
or
I'm actually
salary?
making.
Are you hourly or salary?
40. I'm making 40.
$20.
a year.
So that's $20 an hour. Okay.
Yep. Mhm.
So at $40,000 a year, and you said you only wanted to work 10 to 20%. How in the hell can a man who is making just $20,000 more than you provide for you and 5 kids?
And that's what I'm saying. Like, at that point, hopefully I have my own financial, that I have something financially coming in that I can bring to the table. If not, of course I don't want 5 kids. That's just ludicrous. I'm just saying, like, that's always been, I've always wanted to
Like, what kind of plan is that? Okay, so I don't know when she's thinking to do all of that, but if it doesn't happen, this guy's not making enough, or the business doesn't work, then actually I don't want the 5 kids. No, I never really wanted the 5 kids. I only would have wanted if, all these other ideas made sense. No, that's not how you go about things. You need to make the plan realistic from jump, or try to make it as realistic as possible from jump, and then, you go about it, but not the other way around.
family. But if I can't afford a big family, then I'm
Ma'am,
not.
the problem is young ladies like yourself are just allowed to sit out here and not think about things. The question I asked you, all it would have required for you to do is sit down and say, how much does it cost to take care of 1 child? And then multiply that roughly times 5. As an adult, how much does it cost to take care of me? Then he would have to make as much. He'd have to replace my income. Then he has to do whatever he is doing for him. Then he have to do it for 1, 2, 3, 4 children, however many. No matter what answer, ma'am, there's no way if you would have just sat down and seriously tried to think, you could have got $60,000. And the problem
really
is,
sat down and did that.
but that's not acceptable. And that's my point, that women are allowed to walk around and not think. Even when just asked, it's like, well, you're on the show, try to give an answer. He's like, oh, this, whatever. And the problem is, after this is over, you'll go back to doing. You are not different than a lot of other women. That's my point.
True.
That's why I say modern women are not very.
That is very true. Really, this is not about, like, me commenting on this is not about this young lady personally. This is just a good example. And I'm sure there are people who, if they listen, can relate. And if they take it as something to learn from, this could really be great impact.
Very serious. Y'all don't think about anything.
I think about things. I'm just not gonna lie. Like, I never really thought about like finance. I'm now just realizing like you have to think about finances.
Well, I guess I'm gonna leave it at that. Because I'm not sure there's gonna be much more to come. Like, it's not gonna get better, right? She said what she said. She's just a bit scattered, which is okay. I just hope for her that she takes this and learns and just tries to do better. Guys, context is so important. We need to understand that when it comes to money, there is an average. If you're above the average, you're doing already quite good. But if you're above the average, but you want to make a certain lifestyle, you need to start. You want to live a certain lifestyle, you need to start asking yourself, how much is that lifestyle going to cost? And that goes the same way for people who make less or the average. Everyone needs to ask themselves, how much is that going to cost just for you to get a close idea to reality, because otherwise you're setting yourself up for failure. It's the same things. People need to stop going in with wrong or delusional, crazy expectations. It's the same things with when you have young women who are looking at men their age, maybe 3 years older slightly, and expecting them to be able to pay things that their fathers are able to do, right? You're not gonna see a young man, not most likely, like it's very rare, or it's because their dads own the car or whatever kind of exception, right? But it's not the norm that if you're 20 something, 21, 23, and the guy you're interested in is the same age as you or close to the same age as you, and now you want him to be able to give you a flashy lifestyle, that's not going to work, because it's not that many people. I don't know that many people who are that young and make far more than the average, right? It's because it's just not the norm. People need to grow in time and some careers just don't grow exponentially like that. The other thing is when it comes to family, just think about it. You know how much your life costs. You have to start thinking, how much is it going to cost if I have another mini me? And that mini me is going to grow and going to need things and going to want things. And more than that, and life has so many obstacles. Things are going to happen. When you have a family, you need to somehow think about planning and savings. And you also want to enjoy life. So all these things are going to cost. And this is not even putting some kind of, oh, but I'd rather have this brand and I'd rather have, this car. And no, just think about covering the base first and be mind blown about how much that's going to cost. So guys, I hope you had fun. See you in the next one. Bye.